Welcome to the 2021 City of Mesquite State of the City Address. Like most every event in the past year, we are doing this one differently than we have in the past. For this State of the City Address, we will be providing a video update of our progress last year and our plans for this year. However, I will start where I ended my 2020 address. I told you that we would have what I call extreme and wow customer service, and we have done just that. Although we still have much to accomplish, the city's customer service scores tells us we are doing well. At the end of 2020, our customer service survey revealed that nearly 90% of all respondents said we provided good or excellent service to them. I told you we would go that extra mile, and we did. That was evident by our ability to not close City Hall for even one day during the pandemic, but instead, we remained open to provide essential services. We adapted our quality of life programs to health guidelines, and we adjusted our events to offer them in new and creative ways. I told you we would become a city of possibility. And in 2020, we saw more diversity and unity than division in our community. The city's patience and preparedness helped the community weather the events of the past year. We saw a panoramic of great moments and a pandemic of great need. And we used reality and reason to drive our decisions. That was seen in our current budget. The city lowered its tax rate for the first time in 22 years. Also, the city did not raise the rates for water and sewer for the first time in 15 years. And we still expanded our city services, such as having more police officers and support programs for the community. That is due in large part to our excellent staff. That being said, in the spirit of having a safe State of the City address, we recorded a brief ceremony to honor staff chosen as the Employees of the Year. Police Officer Al Collada has been keeping Mesquite safe since 1983. The former Marine has worked in criminal investigations, and today, as the most senior patrol officer, he is training the next generation of Mesquite police officers. His sharp wit and humor is equal to his professional precision as a law enforcement professional. A faithful family man to his wife and 2 children, Al is devoted to keeping our community safe. It's my honor to present the 2020 Police Officer of the Year Award to Al Collada. Fire Captain Chad Rose has been responding to calls for help in Mesquite since 1994. A proven leader in the department, Captain Rose has earned an amazing 5 life-saving awards during his phenomenal career. From serving as the department's public information officer to a paramedic, he has done it all. Dedicated to his family, co-workers, and our community, Captain Rose has displayed remarkable character as both a person and professional. It's my honor to present the 2020 Fire Officer of the Year Award to Captain Chad Rose. Libby Craven and Larry Ewing have shown extraordinary efforts during a very extraordinary year. During the pandemic, Libby and Larry keep both our employees and the customers we serve safe from the spread of COVID-19. Libby, the Human Resources Manager, was on the front lines from day one. She was facilitating testing and procedures to maintain the safety of our staff as a focus of our operations during the pandemic. Larry, the Manager of Facilities Maintenance, led the charge to secure our buildings. Customer service areas for employees and the public were kept safe to allow the city to remain open to continue serving the community. For their collaborative efforts, it is my distinct honor to recognize both Libby Craven and Larry Ewing as co-General Government Employees of the Year for 2020. Because of those award-winning employees and all our staff, we were able to endure the pandemic in 2020. We pivoted, adapted, and adjusted to continuing providing service to the community. Early on in the pandemic, we launched Recovery Mesquite, a program that is still in effect today. It has helped families and businesses move forward and onward from the impacts of the pandemic. But the city has not done Recovery Mesquite alone. Our frontline heroes of teachers at MISD and healthcare workers at Dallas Regional Medical Center have been remarkable. I applaud Superintendent David Vrunland and CEO Glenda Matchett for their leadership. Much of the efforts to aid families needed the power of faith. Our church partners in the Mesquite Ministerial Alliance were a fundamental part of our efforts in 2020. Also, I must take a moment to recognize Teresa Jackson and her unbelievable team of volunteers at Sharing Life Community Outreach. They provide food and hope to so many. Sharing Life fed the hungry and provided resources to help keep the lights on or the water running at so many homes. The daily, never-ending lines of cars packed with families seeking help never left their team undaunted. Sharing Life has been there from the start of the pandemic and continue to be there today for anyone who needs help. As the city addressed the fundamental needs of families, we also found ways to be sensitive to the mental health needs within our city. We launched a new platform to begin a long-term plan to provide support to those dealing with mental health challenges. Today, any Mesquite resident can get free mental health counseling through our partners at the Azar Foundation. And our first responders will be getting additional training on how to deal with scenes that involve mental health. Our efforts with Recovery Mesquite also focused on the business community. We began a series of assistance programs. This included our roadmap to resources, communications to help connect business owners with financial grants. This included our Shop Mesquite, Texas campaign to ask our residents to keep their money working in Mesquite by shopping and eating locally. This included the city promoting a series of employment training and job fair videos to help keep Mesquite working. And despite the impacts of the pandemic, our city staff remained committed to offering programs and was very creative. We hosted a variety of drive-through special events to keep our community safely connected. Not only did our staff think outside the box to plan activities, they dug deep into their personal pockets to help the community. This year's Real Texas Giving campaign saw our employees donate $36,000 of their own money to local charities, most of which were instrumental in the pandemic recovery efforts. And if dealing with worldwide pandemic wasn't enough of a challenge, our employees quickly assembled to aid evacuees from Hurricane Laura. We set up a reception center to help them get the temporary food and shelter they needed to endure that natural disaster. Our employees continued with their pandemic programs and services for our residents and were still able to demonstrate compassion to these visitors to show our community that we cared about them and that their needs were important to us. I was so proud of how we reacted and responded. As the city adjusted to healthcare, pandemic, and adapted to the impacts of a Category 4 hurricane, we also found ways to pivot towards the community's request for social change. Some cities across the United States faced turmoil and tensions in the aftermath following the George Floyd tragedy. In our community, we fostered dialogue, not destruction. We became ambassadors for inclusion and unity in Mesquite. The community came together to organize a peaceful demonstration at City Hall to call for legislative reform. Much of the credit goes to the leadership of the Mesquite Tri-East NAACP and their president, Henry Brown. Mr. Brown and many of our African American church leaders helped bring our city together even more and led with great compassion. Now, although our community found itself in the middle of unprecedented events, we still were there for the everyday needs of our residents. Our efforts on the annual Address a Mesquite Day event to help homeowners with landscaping projects and minor home repair continued in 2020 with the help of our sponsors and volunteers. And our home program continued due to dedicated residents eager to help their fellow neighbors. A lot of what we did in 2020 included listening to people. A large part of that was due to the unwavering commitment of my fellow council members. They put out information on their new council Facebook pages and were responsive to the public. They hosted tours in their districts to speak with residents and businesses, and they even started producing videos to showcase city projects in their districts. And each council member was instrumental in a variety of individual projects and accomplishments that collectively helped propel this city forward. Sherry Wisdom, council member for District 1, was a key figure in our efforts to bring lock supply to their newest home on Gus Thomason Road. the 100% employee-owned company invested in the reuse of a vacant building to further the revitalization of Mesquite. Because of Ms. Wisdom, Lock Supply will be a vital part of the massive investments in this area that is already seen by the $1.5 million in renovations to nearby Vanston Park, as well as other retail and residential development projects. Kenny Green, councilmember for District 2, has been a tremendous advocate for keeping the Thomason Square area clean and looking good. We needed to maintain the momentum of improvements as we completed the $11.6 million infrastructure project, and Mr. Green and his neighborhood volunteers stepped up and have really displayed ongoing community pride in this part of town. Robert Miklos, council member for District 3, has championed so many improvements for better policy practices for our public safety and for smarter growth. He pushed for ordinance changes that addressed the current safety at our convenience stores and addressed the future of our available parkland. And Mr. Miklos advocated for longer-term visionary plans for the water and infrastructure needs of our city as it continues to grow into Kaufman County. Tandy Burrows, councilmember for District 4, was a leader when it came to community cleanup efforts in our city. With litter pickers in their hands and commitment in their hearts, his band of volunteers helped address trash along our roadways. Mr. Burrows showed us that a cleaner city can generate a renewed sense of energy and passion with citizens who call Mesquite home. B.W. Smith, councilmember for District 5, was a proponent of all our efforts to make our neighborhoods safer. He was one of our biggest cheerleaders for the 9 p.m. program to offer tips to residents in securing their home. As a former police officer, Mr. Smith was on the front lines of embracing the police department's increased visibility in neighborhoods with their new 13-minute patrols. And his compassion for our senior residents has been so inspiring to us all. Dan Aleman, council member for District 6, has helped pave the way to keep us focused on our road projects. From residential streets to major thoroughfares, he has made sure that we are repairing and rehabilitating our roadways. Mr. Aleman's tenacity towards transportation has helped us map out a plan for successful, new and improved roads, and he has championed for quality development in the I-20 corridor. Mr. Aleman continues to work with developers to bring retail and quality neighborhoods to this area. In addition to those achievements, let me offer a brief update on progress we made on our strategic goals. Street repair continues to be one of the Council's top priorities. Since we launched our Real Texas Roads program, we have completed more than 33 miles of residential streets with an additional 54 miles selected and scheduled to be fixed during the next few years. Last year, we completed the Gus Thomason Road project as well as Phase 1 of the Town East Boulevard project and started Phase 2 from Highway 80 to Skyline Drive that will include a new pavement section to support the area's large volume of industrial truck traffic. Last year, we celebrated the start of the massive I-635 LBJ East project that will provide much needed congestion relief along 11 miles of I-635 from east of US 75 to south into Mesquite. And while we know there are still many streets we must address, we will stay vigilant and keep working. We expanded our mass transit services in 2020 through our partnership with Star Transit, who launched the new app that allows Mesquite riders to book and pay for their same-day trips. The new Demand Response Program, which is a ride-sharing transit service for Mesquite residents, and the new addition of the new Saturday services. In 2020, we improved transportation and mobility in a variety of ways within Mesquite, and in 2021, we will be progressing towards accomplishing even more. We kicked off our transparency efforts in 2020 with the launch of a new customer service platform called My Mesquite. It empowers residents to report street repair, code violations, public safety concerns, and other types of issues by computer or on a mobile app. And our Mesquite Police Department started a new wave of efforts to connect and inform the community on social media. They created a Facebook page, started tweeting on Twitter, began gramming on Instagram, and built bridges with the business community on LinkedIn. Our efforts to be a high-performing government achieved an outstanding goal in 2020. After nearly 4 years of negotiations, Mesquite and 13 other member cities ceremoniously signed an agreement with the North Texas Municipal Water District that will have a cost-saving impact on Mesquite water customers over the next few decades. Mesquite's Assistant City Attorney Deetra Hill was appointed by the City Council to be the next municipal court judge. Hill became the first female and the first African American presiding municipal court judge in the history of Mesquite. In 2020, we continued a commitment to remain a city government that is high-performing and has true transparency. And that will remain the expectations moving forward in 2021. In 2020, we experienced historic growth in new housing. We saw more new housing permits last year than we have seen since 2005. Today, we have 13 different housing projects on the horizon with more than 10,000 lots. For example, we have Ridge Ranch under construction in the heart of Mesquite and Spradley Farms being planned for in Kaufman County. We have a lot of new residents coming to our city. This will expand our tax base and allow us to improve service for all citizens throughout the city. As our housing market grew, so did the number of new jobs. For example, F&A Group, a Wisconsin-based manufacturer of pressure washers, announced plans to open a 400,000 square foot manufacturing facility in our city. It will create an estimated 300 new jobs. And Best Choice Products, a Southern California-based online retailer, chose Mesquite to open its first distribution center in Texas. That will create an additional 80 full and part-time jobs. During the pandemic, the city stepped forward through a series of public outreach efforts to help the public gain employment opportunities and skills training. The Mesquite Chamber of Commerce recognized this and presented the city with the 2020 Mesquite Business Retention and Expansion Employer of the Year Award. Those choosing to invest in our community continued in 2020. In January of last year, we broke ground on Urban District 30, a new 5-building, 977,000 square foot industrial park. And by September, the major online retailer 1000bulbs.com was moving its headquarters into one of the 5 new buildings. Over the summer, it was announced that a 280-acre business park will be coming to Mesquite. It will be 3 million square feet of industrial space and bring more new jobs. This $200 million project is located in Kaufman County along Interstate 20. It is the first of many developments in an area we call Trinity Point Mesquite, which will eventually include housing and retail. And in the fall, we shared the news of a 356,000 square foot industrial park. It will feature 2 state-of-the-art facilities planned for on more than 22 acres along Military Parkway east of I-635. The project will add to our employment base with distribution and light assembly jobs. Our economic growth in downtown Mesquite also continued as we announced plans for a new restaurant. Alejandro's at Front Street Station will feature outdoor patio dining and menu items paying tribute to Mesquite's history. Also, national chains saw the Mesquite market as a smart investment. We welcomed Sprouts Farmers Market, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, and our first drive-through Starbucks to town in 2020. As we enter 2021, Mesquite's existing businesses are growing in upward directions and exciting economic announcements will continue. You see, despite the pandemic, Mesquite's economy remained vibrant in 2020. In 2021, it will continue to be bright and brilliant as we add more jobs and economic growth. Indeed, jobs and expanding economic opportunity for all Mesquite residents is our constant focus. In 2020, the city made incredible progress in the face of the pandemic to maintain existing quality of life programs and to also build new opportunities. We celebrated the completion of the new Mesquite Veterans Memorial Project. It was achieved through a partnership with the Heroes of Mesquite. And because of the incredible sponsors and overwhelming community support, today we now have an extraordinary place near City Lake Park to honor all military veterans and their families. The Mesquite Animal Shelter celebrated a successful Clear the Shelters event. They helped 82 dogs and cats find their forever home. Throughout the pandemic, our Mesquite Arts Center, Parks and Recreation, and the library continually created fun, safe activities for families. The library hosted its Library to Go service to make books, videos, and other materials safely accessible to the public. Parks and Recreation created the Summer Challenge Series with weekly fun activities to do at home. Free prepackaged supplies were made available at a Rec-to-Go drive-through station. And the community had a blast videotaping their competitions. The Mesquite Arts Center forged new ways to culturally enrich the lives of our residents. Their Tote and Go programs for families and their how-to videos posted on YouTube were very successful. The Arts Center was recognized for their efforts as they were honored with $10,000 National Endowment for the Arts Grant to produce more virtual programming for our community. And speaking of the Arts Center, they joined Downtown Mesquite in launching new dynamic websites promoting all the wonderful programs and services that they offer. And our downtown program continued to receive accolades in 2020. Downtown Mesquite earned a designation as a nationally accredited Main Street program by the National Main Street Center, becoming the only first-year program in Texas to receive this distinction. And they earned the Texas Downtown Association Best Traditional Promotion Event Award for the groundbreaking celebration of Front Street Station. Businesses saw our commitment to downtown and continued to invest in the aesthetics of the area. In 2020, the council approved 2 more applications for the new facade program that improves the look of downtown businesses, and in 2021, we will complete the Front Street Station Infrastructure Improvement Project. Although the pandemic prevented us from large gatherings, we accomplished a lot in terms of maintaining strong culture, recreation, and quality of life programs for our community. In 2021, we look forward to again joining residents as we celebrate at our community special events. Building a safe community continues to be a top priority of this City Council. Last year, we took many steps to provide the tools necessary to help foster a safer city. We passed amendments to our animal ordinance to address loose dogs and animal nuisance situations, and we are beginning the plans to expand the Mesquite Animal Shelter. The construction of Fire Station 4 was completed. It facilitates improved response by our fire department on calls in that area of the city. The new station adds to all the other improvements happening in the nearby neighborhoods. But it also provides a safer home for the firefighters working out of that station with better protections from cancer-causing elements that are inherent of that profession. We completed our program to address the overall protection of our firefighters. We did it through acquiring extra bunker gear, adding new cleaning equipment, and taking other steps to shield these first responders from dangerous carcinogens that they may encounter. Our police department took important steps towards implementing programs and operations to reduce crime. They helped residents understand the ways to avoid becoming a victim of opportunity with the Take, Lock, Hide program to secure their vehicles. They launched their new SAFE program at 25 apartment complexes to address criminal activities. And they offered various safety programs for citizens, from free locks to gun owners to a prescription drop-off day to safely get rid of old medicines. They even handed out free 7-Eleven Slurpee coupons to kids they saw doing good deeds as part of their Operation Big Chill. The police joined forces with other city departments to implement the tools of the new ordinance that the council passed to improve safety at convenience stores. And because of their teamwork, robberies have been cut in half at these locations. Furthermore, by the end of 2020, the national statistics used by the FBI show that overall crime in Mesquite was trending down by 9%. But we know we still have much work to do when it comes to sending a message that says criminals aren't welcome in Mesquite. In 2021, we will continue to put measures in place to further reduce crime. And we will continue to do whatever it takes to recruit and hire the best and the brightest men and women and keep getting more patrol officers on the streets. There will be more engagement of citizens and the business community to work as one team towards making Mesquite safer. Building stronger neighborhoods and helping to instill a sense of pride in our citizens who live here continue to be a goal of ours in 2020. We kicked off that effort with our annual neighborhood summit that allowed our citizens to make contact with various city services and meet their neighbors. And just before the pandemic hit, we began a new program called Project Porch Light to encourage the use of exterior lighting in order to discourage crime. Our neighbors remained connected throughout COVID-19 as they held virtual meetings via Zoom. Mesquite citizens really stepped up when it came time to be counted as our city trended higher than the state average in census participation. Our community continued to be very responsive to our code enforcement efforts as 9 of every 10 property owners were eager to fix a violation once it was brought to their attention. The citizen volunteers helped our Keep Mesquite Beautiful with successful trash bash cleanups, Recycles Day event, and Yard of the Month program. Mesquite earned many recognitions in 2020 for building a nice place to live. The Governor's Community Achievement Award from Keep Texas Beautiful. Homeownership in Mesquite jumped by 12% over the last decade, the only increase among the DFW cities. And Mesquite was only one of 6 North Texas cities to be ranked among the most livable mid-sized cities in the United States. And we will continue to maintain the quality of our neighborhoods with educating our residents on the new parking ordinance amendments to address commercial vehicles parking on public streets and illegal parking on private property in neighborhoods. In 2021, we will find more ways to create civic pride with citizens who will help us preserve an appealing and attractive city. As I shared with you last year, we have entered a new decade of determination, direction, and decisiveness for this city. In 2021, our focus will include the conversations of being the cleanest city in America. This year, we will launch our Clean City Initiative. We will begin to change the culture towards all of us taking part in keeping our city free of trash and debris and find ways to beautify our neighborhoods. It will include a combination of community involvement, business alliances, and neighborhood partnerships. We'll continue our quest to be the safest city in America. Although the stats show overall crime is down, we need to keep it going. We can and we will do better with more police officers on the streets and in our neighborhoods. In 2021, we will continue to create a culture of being the kindest city in America. The city will seek new ways to enhance its customer service, and we will raise the bar of excellence in all that we do. But it is also about the public being a part of displaying positive attitude and actions towards each other. And we will continue with programs to be the most employed city in America. The city will create youth internships with opportunities for our high school students to train and gain employment. We will aid the chronically unemployed find the right job for them and their skill set. We will promote our partnerships with MISD, Dallas College, Workforce Solutions, and our local churches to build networks of job fairs. And the city will continue its aggressive economic development platform and job creation activities. In closing, Mesquite is moving forward as a city. We are advancing racial equality, well-rounded inclusion, and economic opportunities for everyone in our community. Despite the pandemic, we are seeing progress on our priorities on all fronts. There will be historic growth in Mesquite in the next 10 years and more. Things are good and they are getting better quickly. In short, our community is stronger today than it was last year. This is because of the adversities we have faced and achievements we have celebrated together. And that is what it will take moving into 2021. It will need to be all of us working together to build a better Mesquite for our kids and the generations that follow them. As I stated last year, my childhood hero Roger Staubach once said, "There are no traffic jams along the extra mile." We traveled many miles of achievement in 2020. Let's all continue traveling those extra miles together in 2021. It will be hard work, but I have faith that we can and we will do it together. With God's help, there's nothing we can't accomplish. Thank you all for participating in our State of the City address today. May God bless you, may He bless our great city, and may He bless the United States.